hope y'all like that. I've been working on that a lot longer than I want to admit. How is everyone doing tonight? It is a beautiful Thursday night. I actually forgot what day of the week it was. I haven't done anything all week. It has been an awesome vacation, and I have been loving it. How are we doing? Oh. Schick is here with some very colorful language. Marianne, how are you doing? Lean back. What is up? Hang on. Number 12. Why am I so slow at this? There we go. How are we all doing tonight? James is already in the chat. Jason is already in the chat. Black pilling deep down the black pill rabbit hole. We're not even there yet, buddy. Oh, that's funny. Comey will probably walk. I don't think James is going to walk. What the hell is that? Oh, that's cool. How we doing? No one wants to answer. Okay, let's just dive in. So let me pull these up. Let's start with good old Letitia James. Letitia James, the former. Actually, I don't know if she. I don't think she thinks she's been kicked out yet. She is the Attorney General of the state of New York, and she is. She has just been indicted by a federal grand jury out of Virginia on basically mortgage fraud. She's got 2 counts. One of them is lying under oath on a form to a bank, which is part of the mortgage fraud. And then, I have a lot of stuff open. Hang on. Why do I have so much stuff open? I just want to make sure I don't exit out of the wrong thing. I would hate to end the stream by accident. Let me get her indictment. I had it. I no longer have it. Letitia James indictment. I bet you it's going to be the same thing where they link it to a bunch of stuff and then put it behind a paywall. There we go. Bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution. Those are the 2 crimes she's been indicted for. I mean, it's, in my opinion, it's pretty cut and dry. You know, this is what I do for a living. Mortgage fraud is, I mean, it's kind of hard to accidentally commit mortgage fraud. We go through too many checks and balances to make sure that you're not lying. Lean back said the paper trail is damn near ironclad against Letitia, but I don't see her actually going to prison, so I'm half black pilled on it. No, I get that, and the guys, I understand. You know, I don't even think at this point it's being upset about. I I don't even think it's that close to just being upset about uh, you know us versus them. It's more the case that it's consistently the same kind of stuff you see and just in white crime, collar crime to begin with. Um, it's easy to get away with committing white collar crime. Look at the financial institutions. Look at what's the bank? JP Morgan. JP Morgan pays fines out the ass constantly for um, lying to investors, lying to the SEC, and they do it almost as sport. They know they're going to have to pay a fine, but they'll make more money if they can keep that lie going than the fine is to the SEC. So they just lie. It's the same thing here. You wait. I bookmarked something for this. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, come on. Okay, hang on. I got it. So I've got the indictment. I want to pull the indictment up, but the indictment is behind a paywall. So I've got a video that tells me how to get around that. So give me 1 second. Oh wait, is this? Yeah, no, this might still work. Okay, inspect. Click the thing in the upper left-hand corner of it. hmm This, I think it's this, and delete. Hang on. We're gonna get around this. I'm gonna figure out how. What's up, KC Cheeto? How are you? Oh, you're not late. Okay, exit that. Son of. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it somewhere. Oh, you know what? Maybe I was too quick to judge PBS. Maybe they do serve a purpose, and it's helping me get around paywalls. Here we are, the 5-page indictment of Letitia James. Number one, bank fraud, 18 USC, section 1344. And number two, false statements to a financial institution. The allegations are that Letitia James was a resident of Brooklyn, New York, and the borrower on a Fannie Mae backed mortgage loan for the property in Norfolk, Virginia. OV Financial, also known as Old Virginia Mortgage, was a mortgage lending business located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, engaged in the business of originating and underwriting residential mortgage loans. Yo, Casey, we're gonna get to that, sweetie. Fannie Mae was a federally chartered. By the way, I don't know this, and if anyone does, I'm sure I could Google it, but I don't want to spend the time. So if anyone wants to teach me right here, what is like? I don't understand Fannie Mae, Fannie Mac, Annie Mae, Annie Mac. What the fuck is that? What's up, Donna? How you doing? Driving home yet? First Savings Bank was a state-chartered, FDIC insured financial institution headquartered in Jeffersonville, Indiana, which acquired mortgage loans through assignment or acquisition, yada, 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 yada. On or about August 17, 2020, James, as sole borrower, purchased the three-bedroom property located at 3121 Perone Avenue for about $137,000, financed with a mortgage loan for $109,000. The loan was originated by OVM under a signed second home rider, which required James, as the sole borrower, to occupy and use the property as their second residence, and prohibited its use as a time-sharing or other shared or ownership agreement, or agreement that requires her either to rent the property or give any other person any control over the occupancy or use of the property. So, what is a rider? So, anyone that owns a home, for the most part, there are some exceptions, but anyone that owns a home probably has a rider in their mortgage. That rider could, if you own a home in an HOA, it's called a PUD rider. It's a planned unit development rider. And basically what that rider says is that you are buying a home in an HOA, that HOA has certain ownerships of your property. It doesn't mean that they can walk into your house. It doesn't mean that they own your house. It just means that there are certain rules and regulations that the HOA can tell you as the property owner what to do. Part of that rider also says if you don't pay your HOA fees, then that HOA can foreclose on your house. Now it's very uncommon, and you do have to miss a lot of HOA payments in order for them to foreclose. But that is one of the things it says. VA rider, for all the veterans here, a VA rider says that the VA has an interest in your property and that your loan is not assumable by anyone unless they're a veteran. So let's say John is a veteran and he buys a home with a mortgage. On the back of his mortgage is going to be a VA home rider. And that just means that if he goes to sell his house and someone wants to assume his mortgage, they must be a veteran in order to assume their mortgage. But Letitia James had a second home rider on the back of her mortgage. And the second home rider says that you are buying this property as a second home for you. You are not buying it as an investment home. You cannot, for a certain period of time, I think it's about a year. It's usually a year. You cannot use this property as an investment. You cannot let other people live there and charge them rent. You have it. It must be your second home. Despite these representations, the Perone property was not occupied or used by James as a secondary residence. It was instead used as a rental investment property, renting the property to a family of 3. And I pulled up her fraud allegations, the information that James, I think it was, is it James Pulte? Is he the head of, no, I think it's Bill Pulte. 2 years? Okay. I never really read the rider. I just know what it generally means. They're a lot to read. I don't like to have to waste my time reading random writers from random people. So, let me see. Where was I going with this? So the fraud here is both, and actually there may be an unindicted co-conspirator in this, because there are emails from her and to her mortgage broker where she tells her mortgage broker that she plans to use it as an investment property. Her mortgage broker should have made the bank aware of this. They're under an obligation to do that as well. So if they, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not blackpilled on this, is if they have that mortgage broker, well, that's bad news for Miss Letitia James. This misrepresentation allowed James to obtain favorable loan terms not available for investment properties, including a note rate of 3%, avoiding a almost full percent higher comparable investment property, resulting in approximately $17,837 in rate savings over the life of the loan, and a seller credit of approximately $3,200 for total ill-gotten gains of $18,933. So this is another way that buying houses works. When you go and buy, whether it's if it's new construction, then that builder usually has incentives for you to buy that house. Some of them, in some builders, they have like cool names for them, like Mungo Homes calls it Mungo Cash. And what that means is they will put money towards your closing costs. But there's certain stuff you have to do, like you have to use their lender or their closing attorney or their title company. But if you do these certain things, then they'll give you money for your closing. And it's a lot of money. It could be up. Some builders will do like 12 grand. So people will go to closing without having to spend a dime. Now, and some seller credits are based on how you're buying the house. If you're buying the house as an investment property, a lot of sellers won't give you credit for it. But here, the claim is that she lied so that not only would she get a better rate, but she would get she would get more seller credits. James's universal property application for homeowners insurance indicated owner-occupied non-seasonal use, which again is another way of second home. James filed Schedule E tax forms under penalties of perjury, treating the Perone property as a rental real estate, reporting fair rental days, 0 personal use days, thousands of dollars in rents received, and claiming deductions for expenses related to the property, further contradicting the second home classification. The loan was acquired by or assigned to First Savings. So here's the number one. Here's the first count: bank fraud. The allegations in paragraphs 1 through 12 are realleged and incorporated herein. From on or about August 7, 2020, through at least January 2024, in the Eastern District of Virginia and elsewhere, the defendant, Letitia A. James, did knowingly execute and attempt to execute a scheme and artifice to defraud OVM Financial and First Savings Bank financial institutions and to obtain monies, funds, and credits owned by and under the custody and control of OVM by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. The scheme involved falsely representing the Perone property as a secondary residence to obtain favorable mortgage terms while using it as an investment property with no intended or actual personal occupancy or use by her. Well, I feel like this is obvious. This is the thing that like annoys me, and I'm sure it's what annoys Jason as well. It's very clear from the evidence provided that she knew what she was doing. I mean, again, she's a 55-year-old attorney. Like, I have no idea how old she actually is. Let's find that out. Not that it actually makes a difference, but yeah, she's 66. She's a 66-year-old attorney. She was 61 when she did this. She knew what she was doing. And then the false statements are all about the application for her loan. Representative affirmed in uniform residential loan applications and related documents that the Perone property would be used as a secondary residence, when in truth and fact, as James then knew, the property was intended and used as investment property. So again, yeah, I mean, like I said, 2 months ago when I first started talking about this, she knew that this was not going to be a secondary home. She knew that this wasn't supposed to be her winter home, but she was going to have it as an investment property, and she lied about it in her mortgage application. You can't do that. There's like 9 different spots that you sign in that entire package that says, I am not committing mortgage fraud. Hey, look at that. Good old welcome to the rebellion. Cheers, mate. That milk goes down well. What's up, ESG? How you doing, buddy? Ray Park. Nice. Now, this is interesting. There's a forfeiture notice attached to this. Pursuant to federal rules of criminal procedure, upon conviction of the offenses in count 1 and 2, the defendant, Letitia A. James, shall forfeit to the United States any property constituting or derived from proceeds obtained directly or indirectly as a result of such violations, included but not limited to a money judgment in the amount of $18,933. So they, it was milk. It wasn't beer. So they're not only are they going to want to send her to prison. Let's see if they're gonna ask for that. But they want the money too. The money that she was able to get, or I guess not have to spend, they want that back too. If any of the property described above as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon the exercise of due diligence, has been transferred or sold to or deposited with third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be divided without difficulty, the United States shall be entitled to a forfeiture of substitute property pursuant to title, yada, 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 yada. So they want their money back. Now, the U.S. attorney in this case is the same one that presented the case for James Comey as well. And that's because it's out of the same district. I don't know if I would have done that because, again, it's not the best district in the U.S. They had to do it because that's where the crime took place. But if I could have gotten a different venue, I probably would have. I might have tried to do New York because, or at least the Northern District of New York, put it out there in the boonies up there in Buffalo. No way in heck does that jury pool like Letitia James up there. But yeah, that's the case against Letitia James. Shave his belly with a rusty razor. Are you talking about playing tonight? No, thank you. Where did I put Twitter? And this is her. She did another video like James Comey did. I'll give it to her though. Her video's better. James Comey's looked like he was already in prison. But this is her video. Let's see if I can't. Wow, 450. That's the best they got.
This is nothing more than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General.
Now, I seem to remember when she was running for this position, when she was campaigning to be the chief law enforcement officer of the state of New York, that her big campaign promise was to go after Donald Trump. That doesn't seem like just doing her job. And this is what's so it's another example of rules for thee, not for me. She is so angry that Donald Trump is possibly and probably doing the same thing she did. He's got the ability now. The problem is she actually did what she's being tried for, and Trump didn't.
General, these charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost.
And again, the thing that's really annoying about this is, let's say that Trump absolutely, like, he comes out tomorrow and he says, "Hey, I just want to let everyone know, James Comey absolutely did everything that we're accusing of him. Here's all the evidence. Letitia James, here's all the evidence. Here's all the evidence against her. Here's the signed documents, and here's the recording where she says, 'Hey, I know I'm lying,' all that stuff. But I'm doing this because they were mean to me." That doesn't get them off the hook for the crimes they committed. Just because he might be being vindictive doesn't mean that they get away with the crimes they did.
The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me, and
so that the United States attorney refused to do a lot more, and it's well within his power as the president to fire United States attorneys who don't listen to him or his attorney general.
Replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country.
Was it Letitia James or Fannie, what's her name, in Georgia? They gave the job to her boyfriend.
This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts and evidence.
It took 2 years to determine that a billionaire told a bank that his property was worth more than it actually was. And then it took you 2 years to then find the evidence that the bank was angry about it.
Not politics. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights.
Hang on a second. Okay, I was remembering a different one. Yeah, I mean, I always think it's kind of funny when Democrats spout the gospel. Well, in this case, I say spout verses and use it to defend their actions and make them seem like they're in the right. I'm not gonna say she doesn't have genuine faith, but I mean, actions do speak louder than words. And I haven't seen any faith in this. You are correct, Mark Reality. Yes, the bank was actually okay with the valuation that Donald Trump gave to his property and was very happy when Donald Trump paid back the loan early. So, again, she's just a dumbass. These people, guys. She done.
And I will continue to do my job.
I wonder if she's going to get fired. Let's see. Let's look her up and see if she's been fired yet. She is still trending. No, nothing from the nothing from Hochul, the governor, which is unfortunate because that would be fun to read. God, that judge in that case is disgusting looking. Yep. Let's see what CNN is saying about this.
I understand we have some legal breaking news.
Yeah, we have just learned that New York Attorney General Letitia James, who obviously brought the charges and won against President Donald Trump, has just been indicted by the Department of Justice. This was a case that President Trump wanted to.
Okay. Again, wrong words. They know they're the wrong words. The Department of Justice did not indict her. A grand jury sitting in the Northern District of Virginia indicted her. People, citizens of the United States, they are the ones that sat in the room, listened to the evidence, and said, yes, there's enough evidence for y'all to indict her. That's who indicted her, not the Department of Justice.
Be brought. It's a mortgage fraud case, and it's also what led to the leaving of the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia.
I understand we have some legal.
Okay, I was hoping for like an opinion from them. That's too bad. But yeah, so they know what they do when they say these things, when they misspeak, and then of course they have to issue corrections 3 days later. I was really hoping to see the New York governor say something. Let's see if New York Governor Kathy Hochul. Yeah, she did say something. New Yorkers know New York State Attorney General James for her integrity, her independence, and her relentless fight for justice. What we're seeing today is nothing less than the weaponization of the Justice Department to punish those who hold the powerful accountable. Sounds like more word speak from them. They don't actually care. I mean, again, like I said, it's pretty evident. I've said it a bunch of times, but it's impossible to get through that closing process without having, without knowing what you're signing. And she already tried to throw her daughter on the bus by saying, "Well, I did power of attorney, and my daughter signed for me, and she's the one that messed up. If not me, if there was a mess up, it's like, no, that's not the way it works, ma'am. Like, she's signing as you. You are the one that messed up." Sorry, scrolling through Twitter. I wonder if Donald Trump's going to win the Nobel Peace Prize tomorrow. Mark Reality says that grand juries are used as a shield by prosecutors who know they're overcharging but don't want to get in trouble for it. Just talk a group of uninformed citizens to vote for the indictment. And that is a very good point, because again, in the grand jury, you're not bound by almost any of the rules of evidence that you're bound in an actual trial. You can introduce Fruit of the Poisonous Tree, which is evidence that will get thrown out at trial because you've either gotten it illegally or you violated rights. Whole bunch of reasons for that stuff. Hearsay, any sort of hearsay is admissible, whether it's through an exception or not. And then there's no defense. There's no the defendant's attorneys don't get to sit there and argue the case. So yeah, I mean, grand juries are necessary in a lot of places, but they, like he said, they are used a lot to kind of cover your ass as a prosecutor. They do it when they try to go after cops. They do it all the time. They'll overcharge cops and then use the grand jury to let the cop off. And I mean, look at Zimmerman. Now, Zimmerman wasn't a cop, but Zimmerman should have been tried for a whole, or probably should have been convicted for a bunch of things. But they didn't try him on half the stuff he should have been convicted on. They threw second-degree murder in there, and it was like, this is manslaughter if it's anything. It just wasn't, second degree wasn't enough. And they tried to hide behind, well, we gave him second degree because people don't really know anything. I'm looking for, what's this? That's the indictment. Oh, did y'all see this? Hang on. This was fucking hilarious. Let me see if I can find it. Nope, not that. Okay, we're gonna go with this one. This, oh my gosh, this was hilarious. Tell me y'all saw this. So they had a cabinet meeting today, And this is JD Vance talking.
Yesterday was a big day to Marco, to Susie, to the entire team, but in particular, viewing it from this perspective where for months the fake news media attacked you, attacked the entire team, attacked your approach. The president actually charted a different course in particular, and that's why it's important to recognize that. I also think the president, Marco mentioned the president's personal touch being a big part of this. The one thing I would say is obviously the president of the United States, with a lot of people who are very pro-Israel. I think that was an in the world.
Here it is.
Has a lot of interaction with a lot of people who are very pro-Israel. I think that was an important set of experiences and life experiences that he brought to the table. He also, of course, knew one of the most famous Palestinians in the world, Chuck Schumer. And I think without that background of knowledge, it would have been impossible to get us to this.
And right there, Donald Trump's just looked at Marco Rubio and said, "It's true." And I forget who is this? Harold something. I forget the guy next to Hesketh. He was losing his shit. He was laughing.
Second thing I say, just
at it. That seriously was probably one of the funniest things I've seen today. Also, by the way, guys, do not shine lasers at anything. First, if it's in the air, don't shine a laser at it. If it's a Black Hawk carrying ICE agents, definitely don't do it. So this is what the Portland Antifa is inviting members of the anti-ICE crowd in Portland to do on Saturday, October 11th, every night. And this is their big old plea. Every night for weeks, we are forced to listen to the threatening rhythm of helicopter blades as the federal regime spies on us. The only limit power knows is our refusal to submit. This Saturday, October 11th at 9 p.m., you are invited to fight back. All you need is a laser. Leave home, they can see where the laser is coming from. Go to a park, a field, or some other public place. And once the clock strikes 9, unleash your beam at the copter. Mask up, coordinate with friends, throw a laser party. Let's take back the night together. It won't take many of us to ground the helicopters. By the way, I'm pretty sure "take back the night" is the phrase that the Guardian Angels used in New York in the 80s when they helped take down Son of Sam. What the heck? Also, copter is a pretty cool name for a police thing in a Batman comic book. That's exactly what they would call it. And then, of course, Homeland Security replied to it. Aiming a laser pointer at an aircraft is a federal crime. This is incredibly dangerous for the aircraft personnel and for the public safety. Antifa domestic terrorists will not overrun our cities. We will bust their networks and bring every one of them to justice. Speaking of which, during our glorious cabinet meeting today, I love how I said hours like I was there. Was it Pam Bondi that said something? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I haven't watched this yet. Pam Bondi talks about what Trump's going to do to Antifa.
We're not going to stop at just arresting the violent criminals we can see in the streets. Okay. Fighting crime is more than just getting the bad guy off the streets. It's breaking down the organization brick by brick. Just like we did with cartels, we're going to take the same approach, President Trump, with Antifa. Destroy the entire organization.
And of course, there are people claiming that this is them saying that they're going to use drones and stuff to go after these people. They're going to kill them using force and stuff like that. And that's just not what it is. She's saying that they're going to use the same approach, that they're not going to back down. They're not going to sit there and issue strong-worded letters. They're not going to use diplomacy. They're going to take to the streets and actually go after these people. That's what she's saying here. And look, Bondi has been seriously disappointing. Though I do think we are starting to find out that she's been shoehorned by a whole bunch of what was the thing earlier today that we found out about? It was something with the Epstein stuff. I wasn't paying attention. Something in her testimony the other day. No, I don't want a fucking iPhone. What the shit is this? How is the BBC allowed to do a full page ad about clothes? Wow, that's really dumb. The iPhone wants me. Thanks. Okay, I think this is it. No, it's not. There was something that she said in yesterday's or Tuesday's Senate hearings that kind of opened up a lot more questions about the previous Justice Department's comments or handling of the Epstein stuff. Wicked, Raid, wicked. How are we doing, everybody? Guys, new people, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. Let's get to that 500.
From top to bottom, we're going to take them apart. Thanks to your bold leadership and the designation of Antifa as a terrorist organization, which is exactly what they are, Americans will no longer tolerate their unhinged violence.
Now, I will say, and this is so one of the things that I really love about Trump when he speaks is even when he's got a teleprompter, even when it works, it doesn't really sound like he's reading off a teleprompter. Pam, that was terrible. Just straight up reading off whatever you had written down in front of you. But what the thing that I was saying that annoys me about all this is you get all these people that start insinuating that they're getting ready to launch, full on blown military raids on these people. And that's not what it is. Now Trump spoke the other day and said in this meeting that they were going to start labeling Antifa a foreign terrorist organization, which actually allows them to go after the foreign money that is invested in this group. One of the guys here, and I didn't. Let's see if I can find it. One of these guys, he had a really great list of all the people that they needed to investigate, but I don't think I can find it. Hokie says, so can the guy arrested for the Palisades fire use the fact that Governor Newsom said it was climate change as a defense? No, he cannot. No, I'm all the way back into September now on my bookmarks. I thought I had bookmarked it, but one of the people, and this is honestly one of the great things about the administration being willing to talk to people who aren't CNN or Fox News or the 1% of investigative journalists, that you've got these YouTubers, for the most part, who actually are willing to put in the time and actually investigate this stuff and have gone deep into the belly of the beast and found the money. They know where to start. They're able to give the government basically a game plan, which allows the government to jump ahead like probably 3 or 4 months of investigations of their own. So how about this? Democrat North Carolina State Representative Cecil Brockman has been arrested and charged for how do we say it on YouTube? SA of a minor aged 13 to 15. Now, I've seen plenty of stories of Republican lawmakers being arrested. There was one here in South Carolina. The head of the Freedom Caucus here at the South Carolina State House was arrested with lots of gigabytes of imagery on his computer. So it's not just on one side or the other. But again, how do you get these people? How do these people get into office? Like how are they able to hide because there's no uglier crime than going against children. That's why the second you get to prison and they find out, you out. The most hardened murderer isn't going to let you live. Okay, so today started the Supreme Court's newest term. The 2025 to 2026 term started today. And I want to take the next 4 minutes, maybe the next 4. We might get tired of it relatively early. But I want to take the next couple of minutes and listen to the highlights of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson and her second term on the United States Supreme Court. Enjoy.
So I don't understand. Can I just understand? And I don't understand. And so what I don't understand, I don't understand your argument. I'm just trying to understand your answer. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. And I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand, but I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand. So I'm trying to understand. I'm sort of with Justice Kagan trying to understand. I don't understand. I don't understand because I'm still trying to understand. Maybe I'm just not understanding. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand and I don't understand. I was just trying to understand. So I guess I don't understand and I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm struggling to understand and I don't understand. Can you help me to understand? I'm sort of with Justice Alito in trying to understand, but I don't understand. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I'm just trying to understand. I guess I'm just trying to understand.
Now, I will say, one of those of this past minute of I don't understanding, one of those was with Justice Alito. So if Justice Alito didn't understand something, then there was no way in hell that she was going to understand it. So, I'll give her that one. But the rest of them, come on. Jackson, who doesn't know a definition of a woman, doesn't know anything. Shocker. Casey says, I owe y'all for this. Well, We'll figure it out. Here's some more.
I don't understand.
No, I'm kidding. I won't do that to y'all. But I'm also not gonna make me. Protests. Let's talk about these protests. So one thing. So I will say, how about this? Small thing first. Small thing. Okay. Attorney General Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General. He's also running for governor. This is someone to pay attention to. This is something to watch, because what we don't want to see is an overreaction here. So Ken Paxton says, breaking news, I'm investigating Discord after the platform was used by the reported assassin who murdered Charlie Kirk. Discord has chosen to allow extremist content, sexual exploitation, and addiction to flourish on its platform. And all of that is true. I also think that Ken Paxton he's not trailing, as I understand it, but he's not gaining in the polls in Texas, is my understanding. And I think he is trying to make headlines here. I think investigating Discord is a dumb thing to do. I especially think I would have waited until after they testify in the House next month. Aren't they all of the whatchamacallits are coming to the House next month, aren't they? Yeah. Chairman Comer invites CEOs of Discord, Steam, Twitch, and Reddit to testify on radicalization of online forum users. Yesterday, actually. Did they show up? Calendar. Let's see. Oh, wait, no, they probably didn't because the government shut down. Shit. Maybe that's why they actually shut it down. They don't want this hearing to happen. Let's look. Yeah, because there's nothing on the calendar, and there won't be anything scheduled on the calendar until the government turns back on. But yeah, I think it's a mistake. First off, I would not have done this until after they testify in the hearing. I would rather. I don't want Discord to have any reason to hide anything other than what they might already have. And if you go ahead and announce a criminal investigation into them, then it's a whole nother reason for them to circle the wagons. I also think it's silly in a way to go after Discord. What are they going to do? They're going to scan every single message that is received and let someone know when the word murder pops up in one of the messages. Well, we yelled at the federal government for doing that after the Patriot Act. Shouldn't we yell at Discord for doing it? Attorney General Ken Paxton expanding his Securing Children Online through Parental Empowerment Act investigation into online chat platform Discord after it was used by the reported assassin, yada, yada. I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with the Trump administration to root out and defeat nihilistic violent extremism in all its forms. Discord has chosen to allow extremist content, sexual exploitation, and addiction to flourish on its platform. It is a legal obligation to prevent minors from being exposed to these evils, but instead its actions have contributed to the growing wave of nihilistic violence all across the nation. If you have an issue with something that's happening to children in Discord, go after them through COPPA. There's no reason to pass new laws to go after online stuff. We already have children and online protection acts. There's no reason to do that. Yeah, exactly, Cozy. Look, Nice profile picture. A lot of these websites, and I don't know how you fix it. I don't know if you can fix it, but a lot of these websites and forums are too big. Things are going to get lost. What you need to do is you need to find a better way at getting people not to do it. Like I can go open a Discord and start yelling at someone, oh, screw this, F that. I hope this person does this. But if I'm just venting and yelling about something, then that's well within my rights. But the second the government starts forcing, and I would argue that forcing Reddit or Discord or Facebook or X to censor its users, it is first off, that allows for, or that forces them to go to even darker areas that aren't policeable by the federal government. I'd rather it be the enemy we know than the enemy we don't know. Minority Report. Oh, well, I just saw Casey's message about her schizophrenic neighbor. That's fun. Risk It, what's up? Wiley, how y'all doing? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kim Paxton doing this. It's not gonna surprise me if we see Alan Wilson do something similar here in South Carolina. He's also running for governor, but Alan Wilson is the leading one, and he's most likely going to win. So I don't think he needs to prop up any weird investigations to help people like him more. Okay, so we have some. Hey. Interesting. So this is Megan Wingfield. She's a candidate for the 2nd Congressional District in Kentucky. This is her. I think it's her. It might be him, but we don't know. Apparently believes in term limits. Cool. Awesome. Love it. This is also her.
Running to be your next congresswoman in Kentucky's 2nd district. And over the last few months, with your help, we've went over to 8 different counties, going to county fairs, protests, meetings, picnics, Democratic Party meetings, and getting to talk to so many people throughout the district. And through that, we have made so many great connections and heard lots of great stories. But now we want to get back to our roots. To get back to what's...
So there are 2 things that I've always said will get me in the gym every day of the week. And they are, because I'll be the first to admit, I am not the fittest dude in the world. I like food way too much. Mea culpa, my fault, I'm sorry. But there's 2 things. One is when I no longer have elbows. And 2, when I walk like this, when instead of just walking, my legs swing out like her
started this campaign to begin with. So meet me here, where it all
see
began.
see how she has to swing her leg out
Right here at Fountain Square in downtown Bowling Green, October 11th, this Saturday at 12 p.m. Meet me here, and let's have a conversation about next steps, how we can build a better future, and what we can do to save our democracy. I look forward to chatting with you. Power to the people, y'all.
is that the cringiest political ad you've ever seen? Oh my god. There was a Risk is right. There was a gasp in there. Well, actually, we're a constitutional republic. So that was a very extremely cringy ad. If you're gonna run for something, my biggest advice would be don't wear a t-shirt that says fuck ICE. Just an idea. All right, Breezy, I see you, man. That was that was better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, exactly, Bowling Green. And speaking of college towns, you want to hear what was happening at the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga? That they refused to allow Turning Point to establish a chapter there. There was a Turning Point chapter that was trying to become a that's something else. That was trying to become a full-fledged student organization on campus, and the school, or actually, so in this case, I don't think it was the school. The student senate passed a vote saying that they wouldn't allow it because Turning Point was a hate speech group or something like that. I don't know exactly what the reasoning was, but it was something about hate speech, which obviously all bullshit. The University of Tennessee at Chattanooga issued a statement today after Turning Point got involved, after the Tennessee House and Senate members, and after the Tennessee legislature started getting involved. As part of the process of becoming a registered student organization of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, the Dean of Students Office has completed its review of a group of students' application to establish a chapter of Turning Point USA on campus. The Dean of Students Office has determined that Turning Point USA is approved as a registered student organization. While the Student Government Association may voice opinions, recognition of student organizations is determined by the UTC Dean of Students and Chancellor. Turning Point USA has been authorized in accordance with the university policy and the law. So the Student Senate tried to keep them out. They tried to pass some votes saying that they were a hate speech group and that they couldn't do that. That they weren't going to allow them to be a student organization there. And this got blown up so much that the leadership, the university leadership, actually had to get involved and say, no, that's not what y'all do. And yeah, that's not I did this kind of stuff in college. That's not what they do. They sit there in a room and they just talk about dumb shit. You think your life isn't affected by what happens in the United States Senate? your life at a school is affected 0% by what happens in a student senate. The only thing that ever affected my actual day-to-day life was a vote that kept paying for subscriptions for all the students to the New York Times and it was New York Times, I think Washington Post, and the Wall Street Journal. We got those for free. That was the only thing that actually affected my day-to-day life as a student. So I always find it funny when these student-led, student government organizations try to be the United States Senate. It doesn't work like that, my friend. Who is calling me? I've received, holy shit. I've got like 9 missed spam phone calls in the last 10 minutes. Has it not been going off? Well, Hokies, I actually enjoyed getting the New York Times for free because I got to do the crossword. Beyond that, I didn't read it at all. Ooh, Sean, I bet Penn State was terrible. KC, that sounds awesome. Oreos and milk is epic. Okay, I think we've got a couple more stories here. You know what? Let's hit the big one. Okay, where is... Let me see if... Well, guys, it was great while it lasted. You know, Israel and Hamas were going to have some peace, but we've got some bad news. Really unfortunate news here. Federal Judge Boasberg has blocked Trump's peace deal, ruling Hamas and Israel must continue killing each other. Doesn't that just suck? That's really disappointing, guys. Also, no, not that. Document downloads. Okay. So after I saw Rubio do his thing, I made this meme. I'm curious what y'all think about it. I think it's pretty good. One, if you think it's funny, two, if you think it isn't. Mm-mm. Oh my God, Hokies. Okay, I'm going to take that as a win. Secret Memer did not think it was very funny last night. I thought it was fucking hilarious. KC, I saw them both live. So, I mean, this is incredible. When these people get home, that's like seriously. I mean, that picture is going to be in history books. It's incredible. There's something else. I was trying to find the actual deal because Trump posted this map, I think about 2 weeks ago, that showed what the actual deal is. And I was actually kind of surprised because it seems to be much more anti-Israel than I would have expected. But I can't find it. So maybe I'll find it later and make a video about it. So Oregon, there's some very interesting stuff going on in Portland. So Texas has already sent National Guard soldiers, National Guardsmen to Chicago and Portland, but they're actually not allowed in Portland right now. So a federal judge Thursday, Monday, I think, ruled that, actually it might have been Friday, but I think it was Monday, ruled that the Texas National Guardsmen are not allowed to come into Oregon. But in a separate order, ruled that they weren't allowed in Portland. The Court of Appeals, or the Trump administration, immediately appealed the first order, and the Court of Appeals struck it down in, I think it was literally a day, like Tuesday. And then, but they haven't struck down the Portland ruling yet. And I think it's interesting that these federal judges continue to, and the thing that surprised me the most was Portland is in the Ninth Circuit with California, and the mayors and governors of California already tried this in June, and the Court of Appeals ruled that Donald Trump was allowed to send the California National Guard into LA to protect not only federal property, but also federal agents. And now you've got a federal judge in Oregon under the power of the Oregon, or under the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, making a ruling that defies the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. You've got a runaway judiciary that doesn't understand the supremacy of the judiciary. It doesn't make fucking sense. Okay, Sean, maybe you read a little bit more than I did. Sean read ahead, everybody. Let me see if I can find that. Oregon federal judge, National Guard. That should get me where I'm trying to go. From the New York Times. Are you going to make me pay for this again? A federal judge on Thursday temporarily blocked National Guard operations in the Chicago area, saying that the Trump administration's version of events was simply unreliable. I think this got overturned. The order by Judge April M. Perry blocks both the federalization and deployment of the National Guard in Illinois. That could be a problem for the administration, given that there are already some 500 soldiers either in the state or on their way. God, this stuff moves so friggin' quick. But it is genuinely annoying because look, the thing. This is what's so annoying about this. Okay, let's say the Democrats are right. Okay, let's say Trump is being unlawful and exceeding his authority here. Okay, so what do you get out of it? Okay, let's say that Gavin Newsom, and I'm going to use Gavin Newsom in California because I'm much more aware of that entire situation than I am with what the judges have said and haven't said in Oregon and Illinois. But let's say that Gavin Newsom never sues, never does anything, okay? Then he can campaign on it and he gets a cleaned up city. And he doesn't have to pay for it. What are they doing? It seems so dumb. Not only they're wasting money, but they are intentionally ruining their campaigns for the next 3 or 4 years. They're going to sit there and suddenly their cities are going to be cleaner. There's going to be less crime. There's going to be a whole lot of more property. Your property value is going to go up. And you think that they're going to continue to vote for the guy that let all the illegals in? That's what I don't get. How dumb. I don't understand how they can be this obtuse. No, now you're being acute. Oh, wait, no, I know. I remember now.
He's a stupid son of a bitch.
That's why. Why do they keep doing it?
He's a stupid son of a bitch.
That's why. Hey, there you go. You got it. You got it. And no, I mean, like Hokies, that's exactly it. That's exactly what it is. All they want is to get their 5, 10, 15 minutes of fame saying that I got to fight him. I got to go into court. I got to have a win. Yes, it was overturned by the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court, but that's because he's destroyed them. The real judges, the low judges, the real ones that are there for the people, also the ones that were appointed by my side. They're the ones that are right, not the Supreme Court. They're not right. It's the federal judge. He's the one that's right. Yep. Again, most of these judges, they were all appointed by Biden or Obama. I mean, look at Trump had one the other day. If I remember correctly, Trump had a judge that he appointed. Yes, yeah. Okay, y'all remember Trump is suing ABC. Y'all remember that, right? So I was going to do a video about this, but I don't care enough, so now I'm just going to talk about it. So Trump is suing ABC. And, well, it wants to sue ABC. And he sent in this, or his attorney sent in this 80-page complaint to the courts. And a federal judge appointed by Donald Trump looked at Donald Trump and said, "Are you nuts? What do you think this is?" So this judge basically yelled at both Trump and his attorneys. It was like, y'all, no, it's not brisket. Now you've got me. Better brisket. This is everyone blame brisket. A federal judge told Trump and his attorneys, "Hey, this is not going to be my you're not going to use my court as a pulpit to yell and scream at Joe Daggett J, you've got me all freaked out now. What the heck? Okay, let's see what this is. Okay. This one. I don't think Jesus pushed for free health care, but since we like to quote the Bible, how about I quote this? I do not permit a woman to teach or to exercise authority over a man. Rather, she is to remain quiet. So this is blue-haired crazy woman, Representative Rosa DeLauro, says it's in the Bible to give health care to illegal aliens. Press X to doubt.
Beliefs are rooted in the Bible, that the Bible is his worldview. And I will just say to you, he is a man of faith.
You're better at it than I am, though, Jay.
I will agree to that. And he says that those beliefs are rooted in the Bible. But the Bible is replete with guidance of attention to act as a community, to focus in on the poor. And the Bible lays out a faith-based policy agenda. It espouses social justice. Exodus commands not to.
One of the things that pisses me off the most about the left's talking points and the left's entire platform is that it's based on social justice and not justice. The second you start modifying justice, it stops being about justice and starts being about punishing one side for the betterment of another, not about justice.
To oppress the poor or the stranger whose cry God will hear. Leviticus set aside a share of the harvest for the poor. The Gospel of Matthew on the need for a living wage. The letter of James on the obligation not to show.
Hang on. When did the Gospel of Matthew talk about the need for a living wage? The parable of the laborers in the vineyard. I don't know if I remember this one. Yeah, no, this is just another example of what she or her lackey did was they went into Google and they said, "Hey, give me a verse that speaks to a living wage." And then they took the location and put it in her speech. They didn't even read the parable because the parable isn't about a living wage. It isn't about how much the person makes. It's about how much the people worked. It's about the product of work, not the amount of money they made.
Favoritism for the rich or the needy. And so I do not understand people of faith, and I don't understand the speaker about how the healthcare crisis fits with that worldview. It does not fit with that worldview. What Democrats...
I mean, the healthcare crisis wouldn't exist if y'all had read the bill before you passed it. But that's just me. Before I submit documents to court, I like to read them first. Before I before I sign something, I like to read it. But I guess if you're a representative in the House of Representatives in 2010, you don't have to read anything. So I'm going to beat Jay to this because Jay's going to talk about this tomorrow morning. I already know it. Is anyone else getting tired of hakas? So the New Zealand Parliament basically stopped. They closed today because there was an unplanned haka. And I don't know why there was an unplanned haka. Let's see if they tell us. They don't tell us. I'm just getting kind of tired of the haka. The haka was like a pretty cool thing 5 years ago, but now every single time I see it, it's scrawny, weird women doing it in places that you're not supposed to do it. So the haka is a warrior dance meant to intimidate the other side prior to battle. One of the best way, or one of the number one ways you see it today, is before the All Blacks play, which is the name of the New Zealand rugby team. They do a haka, and it's meant to intimidate the team they're getting ready to play. But the last two times we've seen it on Twitter, at least, it's been in the New Zealand Parliament, where the Maori who are there, who are elected into the Parliament, have done it. The first time they did it like 5 or 6 months ago, because they didn't want a bill to pass that would have made them equal to to the other New Zealanders. Right now they have special status, which means they're stuck. I don't know if there's taxes they don't have to pay or what. I don't know what it is, but they didn't want their special status to get eliminated. I don't know. Like the haka was cool when I found out that at the end of the Lord of the Rings filming, the New Zealanders that were there did a haka for Viggo Mortensen and Bernard Hill because they thought that they were worthy of the haka. But now it just seems like something petulant children do. Oh. Anyone got any thoughts on that? There was a haka for Charlie Kirk. That's kind of cool. This New Jersey stuff is getting crazy, guys. This New Jersey, or sorry, for this Virginia governor race, both of them are getting crazy. But this New Jersey race with that the guy running for attorney general that wanted to off his political opponents. And they're all trying to get around not complaining about the guy. The key word being generations, multiple generations. Okay, this is cool. Okay, so Fox News tweeted, U.S. troops headed to Israel to support historic peace deal. Okay, later, so the first tweet I saw was that 200 U.S. troops were headed to Israel to support the historic peace deal. Carolyn Levitt replied to this tweet. This is not true and taken out of context. To be clear, up to 200 U.S. personnel who are already stationed at CENTCOM will be tasked with monitoring the peace agreement in Israel, and they will work with other international forces on the ground. So they're already at CENTCOM, which is in Europe, right? No, it's an Air Force base. Oh, it's in Germany. That's okay. Well, that would make sense. But yeah, like they're already in the area. So to sit there and act like we've called up, 200 people out of Florida to fly over there is disingenuous. Now, I don't know if that's what Fox News is doing. My gut says they probably were, but I don't know if that was the point. Yes, Brisket's right. It's true. It's just misleading, as so many of these tweets and articles constantly are. Cornboy says odds on AOC replacing Schumer next term. So I've been seeing a lot of talk about this. Schumer is up what? This upcoming one or the next one? So he just won re-election. So he's up in 6 years. I think it's a good chance. I think she would be dumb not to try to run against him. She's been a leading member of her party for what, 6 years now? She's been in office for like 5 terms. She's been in office for like 10 years now, right? Oh, God, 6 years. Close. So, I mean, she'll have been a United States representative for 10 years before she announces a run and 12 years before election day for that campaign. So, yeah, I mean, very good chance that she runs for it, especially if she doesn't run for president in 28. But, I mean, if New York and California go in the direction that I think they're going to go, then they will probably, some of these members are not going to be there. I think AOC is going to have, I think AOC is going to need a lot of stuff to break for her in order for her to gain more power than she currently has. The left is already well aware that they have a problem in their elections. Remember when in 2020, even after that election, there was a lot of anger on the Democratic Party that AOC and her niche had ruined the Democratic Party. Don't forget, and I forget who talked about it, but was Jeremy doing stuff in 2020? I don't know. But in 2020, just after the election, there was a huge phone call that all of the Democrats, everyone that ran for office, whether it was coroner or president of the United States, they were all on this Zoom call. And every single person that lost yelled and pissed off about AOC and the leftist version of the Democratic Party ruining their elections. And there's been a breaking point in the Democratic Party for the last 5 years. And it really came to a head this past election. And we'll see it. We'll probably see it even worse in the upcoming election. 28 months? Okay. So that's too bad, because I would have loved to have seen his reaction to this phone call. But I don't think the Democratic Party wins very well for the next 3 elections. I think they're going to have a very bad 2026. I think their candidate is going to win like 70 electoral votes in 28. And then they're going to get their butts handed to them in 30. And then they're going to figure it out. You're going to see them shift back towards the center. You're going to see them kind of kick out some of the more crazy voices. You're going to see their crazier voices that they can't kick out get a little bit more moderate. AOC is going to come out and say something like, you know, sometimes I like to go shoot a gun. And that's all you're going to see. Debbie, you have a great night or a great day. Make sure you let us know if there's anything that happens on Friday that we need to know about. You know, because that's how time works. But yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think Chuck Schumer has to worry about that right now. That's also why I don't think he's keeping the government shut because of that. That's 5 years down the road. You don't campaign off of something you did 5 years ago. No one cares anymore. She's not going to be able to campaign off of Chuck Schumer bowed to Donald Trump 5 years ago. It's not a good campaign. Yeah, well, Sean, that's the thing. I think they're going to lose. All of them are going to lose a lot of seats. California is probably getting ready to lose. Not getting ready to, but if Trump's successful in getting a new census done, several of these states are going to lose a lot of seats. California is probably going to lose 7 or 8 seats. Florida's going to gain 3 or 4. South Carolina is probably going to gain 1. Georgia's going to gain 1. Texas is probably going to gain 3 or 4. Louisiana is probably going to gain at least 1. Alabama will also gain 1. Don't forget, Alabama has Huntsville, Alabama, which is the fastest growing city in the Southeast. There's a lot of seats to be gained in these red states that I really think we're going to start seeing. Sean, electoral votes are just your House votes and your senators. That's why no one has less than 3 votes. Hokies, that's it. I mean, that's exactly it. Yes, Corn Boy, I saw that. Guys, don't worry, my room will be clean next time. Let's see if I can find that picture. California ballot. Yeah. This is the ballot. The mail-in ballot. Apparently if you vote, and so here's the problem, guys. We don't know if this is true because we don't know what that is for. The tweet says that ballots for California's Prop 50 that would allow Gavin Newsom to redistrict the state and benefit Democrats have a huge error with the no option visible through a hole in the ballot for anyone to see the vote. That's what it says, but we don't know. And Wiley says he shredded his. And this is no offense to Wiley, but again, he could say, yes, that's what it is, but that's just him saying it. I don't know for a fact. So that's the only pushback I would give on this. I don't see any real reason to lie about that. That seems like a weird thing to lie, especially because it would be so easy to find out. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely concerning. I don't understand why you would create your ballot envelope to show who voted somewhere. That seems really dumb. Other than obviously they want to know so they can throw away the ballot. But no, that doesn't happen here. We have safe, secure, super powerful, strong elections. Did I do that right? No, I mean, okay, exactly. Why is there a hole in the envelope? That doesn't make any sense. Let's see. I think there's hey guys. So I don't remember when this was, but obviously, these are the liberal TikTokers. Here's the dumbass. Who is this guy? So I've seen these two. These two did the really gay dance in that really empty house to the Taylor Swift song. So I've seen that video. But who is I've never seen this dude other Corboy, that is the funniest thing you've ever said. Holy shit. He's the fluffer. Oh my god. If anyone doesn't get it, a fluffer is a male pig or horse or livestock that you bring in to get the female livestock excited before you bring in the actual male that's gonna, that stuff. But this, God, this is such a dumb. So, what does this T-shirt say? In gun violence. Oh yeah, because they only have like 2 talking points. I don't know what the. Oh, ESG. I think you're using corn for a different word. Okay. I think that's about it, guys. Any questions? Anyone got anything they want to talk about? Anything you want any videos about? So, that's there's a lot of ifs and buts in a lot of this stuff. If the liberals stopped going after all of this stuff, if the liberals gave up for a month and just let Trump do what Trump wants to do, I genuinely believe it would be a net positive. I do think there would be problems and some. I think there would be some issues. Okay, the man is not infallible, but I think you'd see housing get fixed. I think you'd see gas get fixed. I think you would see energy get fixed. There'd be a lot of good to come out of that. Yes, Wiley, we're going to be celebrating 3 years of King's Advisors over on King's Advisors later tonight, 9:30 Eastern. We're going to be playing Sea of Thieves with Jay, Wicked, and Mo. It's going to be Mo's second time playing Sea of Thieves. I'm looking forward to seeing what these cuts that vote is going to do to the Democrat programs. It's going to be fun. I can't. Stop yawning. Oh my God, we've hit 380 subscribers. Guys, thank y'all so much. Go watch a video. I think y'all are gonna love the videos. I've got several new ones. We've done one, I think, every day this week. I've got 3 or 4 that are hopefully going to come out over the next 3 days. Risk it. I have South Carolina winning. Of course, I have South Carolina winning. I truly believe they're going to pull it off. They're going to have an amazing game. It's going to be incredible to watch. No, I don't want to come hang out because as much as I'd love to, being bound in place, watching a game that in my heart I do believe is going to make me very angry, it's not fun. Guys, I can't raid from here. I'll see y'all over on King's Advisors. Peace out. Y'all have a great night. And get out and vote. I'm going to pull a J. I'm just going to end it in the middle of a sentence.